up, you guys? It is Mary.
And Amma.
We invite you guys to like,
Share,
subscribe,
and comment down below. Today
Yes.
we are talking about not another. We're talking about a civil lawsuit that has been filed
against the Detroit Pistons.
against the Detroit Pistons and against Rob Murphy.
Is this recent?
Yes, for sexual harassment, for retaliation, and for assault and battery. And Rob Murphy was the former assistant general manager
So they fired him.
of the Detroit Pistons. They have now fired him. However, there was this woman, her name is Dejanay Raska, and she actually was introduced to Rob Murphy via a friend, like a friend of a friend.
Okay.
And Detroit Pistons, what is sad about this whole thing is that Detroit Pistons has always been her team.
Yeah.
You know, she grew up there in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
And has always loved that basketball team, the Pistons. Prior to that, she was a projects manager. This actually occurred in 2022, last year.
Oh, wow.
She was a project manager for rappers, for actors, and she always wanted to get to a point where she's like a manager for athletes.
Yeah.
Right. On top of that, she was a realtor. Okay, so like a real estate agent selling homes. So when she got this offer from Rob Murphy, because she said they started talking on Instagram, like became quite friendly, you know, just friends, like platonic friends. And she kind of looked at him kind of as a mentor, like giving her advice and stuff like that. Kind of like how, what was his name, TJ Holmes was a mentor to
that young girl
who we found out that he had used his power for inappropriate behavior.
Yeah.
And so that's what this one is. But anyway, he brought her in and said, hey, a position has opened, executive assistant with the Pistons. And she was like, oh, she was so excited, you know, thinking, hey, I'm going to be arranging meetings, I'm going to be answering emails, all of these stuff, like arranging flights and all that. And it quickly turned to kind of like his personal assistant.
Yeah.
He wanted her to pick up his teenage son from school. The mother and him were not together, and the mother lives out of state. So she was to pick him up and stay in the house with him, especially when he was out of town, when Rob was out of town. When he was out of town, Dejanay had to stay in his house through the night to be with this teenager, right? So it became kind of like a nanny / driver. In fact, the son, that's what he called her to his friends, like, oh, she's my driver, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, she has her own daughter at home and has to, you know, provide for her. And when she got this job, he had told her to quit her other jobs. And actually, this show was done by Fox 2 News. And they were saying that they had actually met her in 2019.
Wow. And
they had done a news report on her because she had collected prom dresses to give to girls who couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So this is a wonderful person.
Yeah.
You know, who wants to do good for others, right? Anyhow, so she did this. She was in his home. She had left her other jobs. This is the only job she had, thinking that this was going to get her to her dream of working with athletes and stuff like that. Then he starts making a play for her. You know, one day her daughter was actually in the house with her. He grabbed her breast in front of her daughter and her crotch, which tells me something right there. If he will do that in front of the daughter,
He's grooming the
he will
daughter. He's
grooming the
grooming
daughter
the
that
daughter.
I'm gonna
And that's
miss
what
you.
groomers do. They start getting children okay with sexual behavior happening in front of them.
Exactly. And she said she was just like shocked because that was the first time that had happened, right? And it was very disturbing to her. My thing with her is just that, and this is just for an advice for women. Do not quit your job. I never did. In fact, even if I went to find another job, I never told them I had another job. And if they ask me, do you have another job, I say no.
Yeah.
I'm not quitting any job for another job. I'm just not doing that because I love to make sure
I'm secure.
I have more than one egg in one basket only.
Yeah.
I like to make sure I have enough eggs. So one egg goes bad, I got another one. Like the real estate stuff, you could have kept that one because that's not like on a daily basis. You could have kept that job, and you should have, you know. But she just thought like, hey, this is my trajectory. I'm going to give everything I have to this job.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. She's young, still learning. But this is my advice to women who are watching this, young women who are watching this. Anyhow, it continued.
Yeah.
So one night, he came home. He'll come home when he's not supposed to, when he's supposed to have been gone. Because she only stays in the house at night when he's not there, when he's out of town or something.
Yeah.
So he shows up unexpectedly and starts trying to grab her and stuff. And she's like, no, I don't want to sleep with you. I don't want to have sex with you. That's not why I'm here. This is not what this is. He tried to tell her, oh, sex is just sex. Come on, we can do this. Whatever, you're thinking too much. She had to run away from him because it was nighttime. Had to run away from him into one of the rooms and lock the door.
Hot mess.
She went back. I mean, still needs a paycheck. You know? My thing is this. And then she said, one moment he'll be giving her advice, the next moment he'll be belittling her.
So mental abuse.
Yes, he will say things like, HR, human resources, right now, they're really trying, they really don't like you. They think that you're not qualified for this job. They need someone with a degree. I guess she didn't have one. They need someone with a degree for this position. So, I mean, they don't really like you. They think that you're a ghetto. He will tell her things like that. And I guess that's because she still wasn't sleeping with him. And she said HR actually told her to her face, verbatim, that what she was wearing was inappropriate. She dresses inappropriately.
But she's dressing to go to a club.
Okay. Which to me has a lot of racial connotations and underlying whatever. Like, why does it have to be a club? Can it not be like, I don't know, going to the store, going to a meeting or whatever,
Yeah.
But so they were really just, so she couldn't go to HR. That's why she couldn't go to HR, because already you guys have told me pretty much that I'm the ghetto, that I dress like I go to a club, and so it makes her believe everything he said about HR.
Well, if you don't go to HR, you go to who's above HR. That's what that means.
Also,
Well, unless you don't know.
You don't know how far it goes because he's the assistant general manager.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so she started talking to the women around her, like kind of
she didn't want other people to
She didn't want that to happen to other people. So finally, anyhow, one night he came and unexpectedly again, and really tried to grab her, tried to overpower her.
We're trying to rape her, basically.
Tried to rape
she
her.
tried to lie. I don't know if she
Allegedly,
was
she said he tried to rape her. She told him, look, I am on my period, we can't do this now, and whatever. And that was, and she left.
Yeah.
And after that, it was like, she stopped going there. She was just working, in the building or whatever. She also said he even tried some of these antics,
at the job.
The sexual harassment, the inappropriate touching, the sexual abuse and stuff, assault, because that's what it is, sexual assault, when you're touching someone you don't want to be touched, right? She said sometimes that happened in the building. where the Detroit Pistons, management is. And so she's actually couldn't go to anyone, but she started talking to the women around her. When she left that job, there was an equipment manager. When she stopped working directly for him,
Yeah.
there was an equipment manager that they had now took over that job, being the nanny to the teenage boy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, equipment manager, like, that's not your job. Why don't you just hire a damn nanny?
Yeah.
Like, it's just annoying to me. You know what I'm saying? You think you're going to be working with these athletes around them and all this stuff, only for some
Sicky.
shiesty manager to come and like bring you, like, get you away from those athletes. And usually they don't look as good as the athletes. But they want to get you away, right? For their own foolishness.
Yeah.
So anyway, she talked to some women around there who worked there. One of them cried with her and was like, "You have to report this. You have to report it because he has to be stopped."
Yeah.
And I am so happy that she decided, look, I need to report him because, like, what if he becomes, now he's assistant general manager? What if he becomes general manager? This is a man who is misusing his power.
Yeah.
To intimidate, to do his sexual assault. And so she decided the voice is going to be me. So she hired the attorney, and a really high-powered attorney too. She was the one, remember that Larry Nassar who had raped all those gymnasts?
Yeah, that
she
nasty.
represented some of those women.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she's the one who's representing her. So I'm very excited about that because I know that she's going to get justice. And so she's suing him and she's suing the Detroit Pistons. But before she decided to do the lawsuit, the lawyer reached out to their organization and told them what happened. And so at first they kind of like, he was on like a temporary leave pending their own investigation. So Desjardins came in, spoke to the attorneys for the Detroit Pistons. They found her to be credible. She took a lie detector test, which she passed.
Of course.
And no problem. And they found her to be credible. And this was in October 2022. Up until recently, they had not heard jack from them. Nothing else. So after the investigation, though, they went ahead. I'm trying to think if they fired him. They suspended him, right? So they suspended him. They didn't fire him. They suspended him. So they hadn't heard from them for like about 6 months. And so they reached out to them again to let them know there's going to be a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit we're filing against the organization and against Rob Murphy for sexual harassment, for retaliation, for assault and battery.
Yeah.
And of course, by that time now they know it's going to be out in the papers or in the news. I don't think we have papers anymore. But anyway,
yeah,
I'm showing my age. So they decided to go ahead and fire him. But that's not enough because it's a civil lawsuit and you all are going to have to pay. But I'm so happy he has been fired.
Nasty mother effer.
I know.
Nasty.
And what is so sad, he's black. And she's black.
What else is new?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
black
all,
on black crime.
Like, but that's what it is. Because this is a crime.
But I mean, how many times have we seen black men go and murder their women and then go and murder the child?
Right. I mean, that's like this new phenomenon that's happening for the past 5 years, I think. Within this past 5 years.
I know, almost every other day.
Like, but, it's sad that she looked up to him as her mentor. And, thinking that he will look out for her.
Yeah.
Only for him to be so awful.
Yeah.
And just wanting to abuse her. And I think of all the women who have come through. How many women has he done this to? And I hope this goes to trial. I hope they don't settle right now. Because I want to see how many women will come out to say, I also was sexually assaulted by this man. Yeah. Because I am sure she cannot be the only one. This man has been way too comfortable for way too long. Yeah. Yeah. So I want to see them so that he can get more time, maybe hopefully even jail time.
Yeah.
Like really, at this point.
And this is just to
It's very
say,
sad.
I know a lot of us would like to say what we would have done, what we should have done, what she should have done, what we would have done.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, this could literally happen to any one of us.
Oh yeah.
It really could, because we
yeah.
don't really know how all this stuff occurs. I mean, thank God, people who are watching probably have not gone through this, or if
it
you
happened
have gone
to me.
through
I
it.
think I talked about it before. It happened to me when I was working for Ruby Tuesday, and it was, in my case, it was a Caucasian man who wanted me to date him, and I didn't want to. He ended up firing me, saying I didn't know how to put condiments on the side of the tray. You can imagine condiments. I don't know how to put the condiments. Like this one needs to have parsley, and this one needs to have, you gotta put ketchup here, or some foolishness.
Yeah.
And of course, that was not the case. It's because I refused to date him. Like, it's like, you're a waitress. How can you not want me? Like, I am this, like, manager and whatever. I make all this. Like, I actually don't give a damn. I don't care if you're wealthy. I actually come from a wealthy family. I don't need your money. Not because I'm a waitress, dodo to me. And I'm actually not interested in you.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
but he fired me. He actually fired me. And I was very sad about it. I was very young. I was only like 20 or 21. And I cried and I cried. But at that time I had 3 jobs. So I was like, okay, well, I only have 2 jobs now. So maybe it was for the best. But it can happen. And a lot of women, when it happens to them, like myself, I didn't go and report it. I didn't, do anything about it. I just went on with a lot of women do that. They don't want to cause any other issues. It's hard for her to come out and actually say this.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
I mean, it's not easy because then it's like kind of like you're putting yourself out there. People want to be like, well, why did you stay? This, that, and the third. She's probably was staying because she was thinking, oh, this is going to be my step up or whatever. And then second of all, like most abusers, they isolate you. So it's like you're completely dependent on them and all this stuff. She could have stayed for 10, 20, 5 extra years or whatever, but she didn't. She tried to get out after the second or third occurrence that happened. So I commend her for that. I commend her for suing his sick self.
I know.
So
and fighting too when he was trying to rape her. Yeah. Fighting him too, and coming up with I am this time of the month and all that.
Yeah.
But
let's continue to give grace and let's keep her in our prayers and let's put some positive
especially
words
as women,
for her down.
As women, I don't want to hear any women down on the comments saying anything about her.
This is a pro-woman channel. If you are not pro-women, please hop your ass off the channel, go somewhere else. Thank you very much.
Because here we will not have women bashing.
We will not have it all.
We will not have it all. Oh, I'm going to tell you right now.
But yes, y'all, it is Mary.
And Alma.
Make sure to like,
share,
subscribe,
and comment
down below.